Hello, a warm welcome to Camnet Television World News. I'm your presenter Namwinga Mwinga. We now look at the news headlines. Government accuses ADB of delaying construction of the 15 kilometers asphalt dual carriageway. Chela Tukuta transferred to Lusaka. Activist urges government to stop giving youth handout. In international news, Zambia among 11 countries allowed to enter the EU. In sports news, finally, President Lungu praised for resuming Football League. We now take a break. We'll be back shortly for more news. After this, keep watching.
Can I have that meal over there? And I really want that crisp, fresh apple taste from the garden. Can I have happy apple?
I think I'll have my big bite 2 meal with happy waziwaka. Give us your
enjoy an appetizing big bite meal with an happy drink of your choice. A meal is not a meal without an happy drink. And now introducing Happy in a can.
Welcome back. And now the news in detail. The United Party for National Development, UPND, has threatened to seek legal redress should the Patriotic Front continue with the reintroduction of the dead Bill number 10. UPND Choma Central Member of Parliament Cornelius Mwetwa says Bill number 10 was buried on the 4th of June and its resurrection will attract legal redress. We have more in this report.
Zambia's biggest opposition political party, the United Party for National Development, UPND, has threatened to seek legal redress if the ruling Patriotic Front insists on going ahead with what UPND calls as the illegality of trying to resurrect the controversial Bill number 10. The bill, which was buried on the 4th of June 2020, after 20 days later, the Patriotic Front want to resurrect the bill. UPND says that it is unattainable. UPND Choma Central Member of Parliament Cornelius Mwetwa says there is no shame in admitting that time to talk about the controversial bill has lapsed. Addressing the media at the UPND Secretariat in Lusaka, the Member of Parliament says Bill number 10 lapsed and the only way it can be brought back is 6 months after the lapsing. As he says, right now there is no law that gives permission to try and bring back to life a bill that is dead.
That Bill 10 lapsed on the 4th of June. What is the contestation therefore presently? The contestation is about the power of the Standing Orders Committee. Sitting 20 days after Bill 10 lapsed, as to whether they do have that power in terms of section 149 of the Standing Orders of Parliament, and if they do have such power, if it is exercisable to extend a life of a being that had lapsed or died 20 days before. And we believe that if they insist to pander on this trajectory, we may be left with no option but to seek legal redress for interpretation before the right forums.
25th of June, Government Chief Whip Brian Mundu will address the media, clarifying why the dead bill should be brought back to life.
However, at the time it lapsed, the House was still on recess. And had it not been for the premature adjournment in the February-March meeting, the second reading stage could have been probably concluded in one way or another.
And now UPND Choma Central Member of Parliament Cornelius Mwetwa says that argument does not hold water.
Now, there is an argument which has been put to suggest that the Standing Orders Committee could not sit to extend the life of Bill 10 because Parliament was on recess. We hold the contrary view that such an argument does not hold water.
Constance Mwemba reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, the UPND has demanded for financial accountability from the ruling Patriotic Front PF regarding Bill 10. UPND Chairman of Mines Percy Chanda, in an interview with Camnet TV News, notes that the process of lobbying Bill 10 countrywide has cost the poor Zambian taxpayers money, likening it to the dead child locally known as Chinkuli. Mr. Chanda accused Bill 10 supporters of having been pushing the bill's agenda due to their selfish motives. Meanwhile, the Chairman of Mines has cautioned the PF against threatening the founders of OSIDA. Mr. Chanda says it's a taboo to threaten elderly people whom he says meant well for the nation.
We have learned that Bill 10 is dead. Therefore, we demand from PF to know how much the whole process has cost the poor Zambian taxpayers. We demand to know how much you have wasted on Bill 10 from inception to date. You sponsored people to go around the country lobbying for Bill 10 to be supported at the expense of majority poor Zambians. It's this kind of careless spending of public resources that has made this country poor. We are not asking too much from you, but just your accountability to the Zambian people.
And opposition All People's Congress Party leader Nason Msoni is disappointed by government for entering a no prosequi in a matter where 12 criminal suspects believed to have been behind the chemical gassing of citizens in some parts of the country. In a statement to Camnet TV, Mr. Msoni notes with sadness that government has released the accused individuals in the gassing incidents without any explanation to the Zambian people. The opposition leader says this is a clear indication that death has become normal to some individuals. About 50 people died in separate gassing incidences countrywide, which lasted for about 4 months. On the 23rd of June 2020, the Lusaka High Court released 12 accused persons who were charged with gassing-related offences after the state entered a no prosequi. Out of the 12 released, 5 were rearrested jointly with other persons who had not earlier been charged for malicious administration with poisoning with intent to harm, contrary to Section 231, Chapter 87 of the laws of Zambia. The 6 will appear in court soon for the new charge. Here is a report.
The gassing incident that brought Zambia to a standstill for a period of 5 months between December 2019 to around April 2020 is almost nearing an end, with the suspects being released one after the other. Government arrested some individuals with regards to the matter, of which another 12 have been released. This has not sat well with opposition All People's Congress Party leader Nason Msoni, who has accused the DPP of reluctantly propagating lawlessness in the country. About 50 people died in separate gassing incidents countrywide. But recently, on the 23rd of June 2020, the Lusaka High Court released 12 accused persons who were charged with gassing-related offences after the state entered a nole.
I must say that we are deeply concerned in the manner and fashion that government has handled the issue of those who were alleged or suspected to be gassing our people, and the general silence from this government. And the mere fact also that this government has gone ahead to enter a nolle prosequi against criminal suspects raises a lot of questions and answers. And we think that this government must demonstrate seriousness. This country lost over 50 citizens. Nobody deserves to die like that. We think that this government must come clean and inform this nation on what exactly transpired. It is impossible not to apportion blame on government, looking at the way this matter is being handled clumsily. So the question is, if it was not these suspects who have been released, who was involved? Who were behind the gassing of our people? I think we have lost a sense of justice in this country. It is not okay for 50 people to die without an explanation. We are still demanding for answers from this government. And it's legitimate to demand for answers. We are saying who was behind the gassing of our citizens.
Out of the 12 released, 5 were rearrested, jointly charged with one another who had not earlier been charged for malicious administering poison with intent to harm, contrary to Section 231, Chapter 87 of the laws of Zambia. The 6 people will appear in court soon for a new charge. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Government has accused the African Development Bank, ADB, of being behind the delays in the construction of the 15 kilometers asphalt dual carriageway from Nambuluma to the Central Business District of Nakonde. Minister of Housing and Infrastructure Development, Vincent Mwale, told Parliament this morning that the African Bank has been reluctant in allowing the government to make use of the loan it borrowed from the bank owing to the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic. The Infrastructure Minister revealed that ADB has asked government to divert the borrowed resources to the Ministry of Health to help in the fight against COVID-19. The minister was responding to a follow-up question raised by Nakonde Member of Parliament Honorable Yazukanji Siwanzi, who wanted to find out why the ADB has taken so long to release funds for the project. We have more in this report.
Honorable Minister, in your response to the question posed by the Member of Parliament for Chinsali Central, you have indicated that the asphalt road from Namburuma to the CDB of Chinsali, which is supposed to be a dual carriageway, will only be done if funds are available. There was the indication earlier by RDA that this particular road may be a variation which will make it part of the project from Chinsali to Nakonde, which is funded under African Development Bank. If that is the case, Honorable Minister, is there challenges from African Development Bank in terms of flow of cash? Because I've noticed that this particular project is slowing down the project between Chinsali and Nakonde, which we expect that to be a variation. There will be a variation to improve this particular stretch of the road. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yes, indeed, our intentions were to vary funds from the Chinsali-Nakonde Road funded by African Development Bank. Mr. Speaker, what has happened is that, yes, on that road, we actually made some savings. Even though it's a loan, we made some savings because I think at the time of estimating, there were high estimations of how much it would cost us to pay for Chinsali-Nakonde. And some of that monies which were saved, African Development Bank allowed us to vary them to some projects within the same region. But what has happened now, African Development Bank have come back to us. They have said all the savings you've made, they are telling us and they're negotiating with us that must actually be varied to support COVID fight, the COVID fight against COVID. And African Development Bank is reluctant to allow us to use the savings from that project on road-related issues, but that we must divert them to health-related issues. And this is coming from them. And the World Bank as well are persuading us to do that. So we are still negotiating, and that is why my answer is, until we secure those funds, we are unable to say we are going to do it.
We now take our first commercial break. More news lined up for you. Keep watching.
To increase sales of your products and services, advertise on Camnet TV. Reach your clients and target markets directly and see your business grow. For special rates, you can contact our marketing department on
0955 664 305 or 0978 290 626. Camnet TV,
not just another channel.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618 and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
Welcome back, and now the news in detail. Social media influencer and award-winning photographer Chela Tukuta has been transferred to Lusaka to appear in court shortly after being granted a 5,000 kwacha bail on his own recognizance by the Ndola Magistrate Court. Chela is facing another criminal libel charges in Lusaka involving senior government officials. Details in the following report.
About Police Commissioner Charity Katanga has told Camnet TV Zambian photographer Chela Tukuta has not been rearrested but only handed over to Lusaka police so he can be able to appear in court as he has been granted bail from the court in Ndola. News flooded social media. Zambia's famous photographer has been rearrested after being released, and a few minutes later the photographer was able to post on his Facebook page with writings reading, "The struggle for a better Zambia continues." The photographer has been transferred back to Lusaka where he has to appear in court. Copperboard Police Commissioner Charity Katanga gives you more details.
The position on our part, as you know, sometime last week, that person was re-investigated by Lusaka police. After that, he was transferred here because we had the 6 other cases pending the copper belt. So he was arrested and charged. Then today in the morning, he appeared in the Ndola Magistrate's Court before Honorable Bar on 4 counts: 3 on publishing defamatory remarks, that is the criminal liable one. Then 1 threatening violence. Then the other one was expressing or showing hatred, ridicule, contempt for persons because of race, tribe, place of origin, and color. He pleaded not guilty and was granted bail to the tune of 5,000 in his own recognizance. His 2 working sureties who are dollar-based in like amounts. He was remanded in custody and will appear in court on 10th July 2020 for mention and 15th July 2020 for commencement of trial. He pleaded not guilty to the 3 charges, and the 4th one he will be tried by the High Court. So after that, he managed to clear the bail conditions and he was released. However, before he could go, Lusaka was still waiting for him for the other charges he was facing. It has been handed over. Here, those cases have been cleared by police and we wait for the jurisdiction to deal with them. No arrest has been done. It's just a matter of handing him over to where is required for further investigation.
Constance Mwemba reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
The Ministry of Youth, Sport and Child Development has called on youths to venture into entrepreneurship as opposed to waiting for white-collar jobs. Speaking at a media briefing in Lusaka during the review of a First Mask Empowerment Scheme, the Minister Emmanuel Melenga says his ministry has allocated funds to youths and that doors are open for youths to apply for soft loans. Mr. Melenga added that so far 200 people have currently been benefiting in the empowerment scheme and that the funds will be rolled out soon. The beneficiaries present at the event thanked the ministry for the empowerment project, charging that they hope to see more support from government. Here is more detail.
I should state that I'm your minister in charge of the youth, and I should push this money for you. But there are certain documents which need to be put in place. Some of your friends are begging that we receive the first mask on Monday. Others are saying we receive next week on Wednesday. But we had put our foot down that everyone should deliver today, but we'll extend up to Monday to enable everyone to deliver. Thereafter, you're supposed to give us a delivery note, and you're supposed to give us an invoice. Based on that, documents will be compiled, sent to DNMU and to Ministry of Finance so that money can be released to this ministry and paid. I can assure you that I understand the challenges you went through in producing this first month. Some of you, when the order was being given, you went to tailors and asked them to produce on credit and promised to pay them back. I would love you to continue the good relationships you have with those tailors. For the tailors to accept that they produce this first month on credit, it simply means that you have got a sound relationship. And I would want that sound relationship to continue with the tailors. And I can guarantee you that this money shall be paid within a shortest period of time. Coming to the debt finance, which Michael talked about from Daily Nation, we should understand that not every youth is a bad player. We are different. We are wired differently. We know that other youths who got empowerment from the ministry in terms of loan have not paid back, but that should not deter the ministry from helping youths. There are other youths who are in business. What they just need is a small push. That's why His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, is allocating money towards youth empowerment. He's saying, we understand that there were some youths who have failed to pay back, like the bus empowerment. Many youths failed to pay back, but that doesn't mean that all youths who fail to pay back the loans. This is government. Government needs to create a conducive environment for youths to do business. We know that debt finance in Zambia is very costly, and that adds to the cost of production of whatever you are producing. So government is saying, how do we shelf this burden off the shoulders of the youth? We shelf this burden by making sure that we provide loans which are interest-free, or if there is interest, it's a minimum interest which is going to make a youth make a profit.
Human rights activist Michael Zulu has advised government to stop giving Zambian youths handouts but empowerment programs. The activist, who was among the youth protesters on the 22nd of June, says the $30 million kwacha given to Zambian artists as empowerment will not benefit the artists. Yesterday, President Edgar Lungu pledged to empower Zambian artists with an amount of 30 million kwacha. More in this report.
Youth empowerment programs have failed as many Zambian youths did not benefit from them. Uncountable. The recent one Camnet TV can give you is the Haiga Buses Empowerment Program, which terribly failed as many of the buses were destroyed, as government puts it, that there was mismanagement by the youths. Don't give us fish, teach us how to fish, some youths have said, and it seems government in this case is trying to give the youths, who are artists in this case, fish instead of teaching them how to fish. 25th of June 2020, the President of the Republic of Zambia, His Excellency Edgar Lungu, during his presidential address, pledged to empower the artists with 30 million kwacha following the recent bush protests, while the youths, many of them being artists, demanded for transparency in government matters and for the Patriotic Front government to give the youths the jobs that they were promised. Now, a human rights activist, Michael Zulu, says the pledge by the president to give artists 30 million kwacha is a bad idea, as the youths do not need handouts but proper empowerment programs which will last.
Well, first of all, my initial comment is that the pronouncement by the president yesterday is out of emotion. Because to me, I look at that as a handout, as alms. What the young people are looking for now are not handouts. What young people are looking for are reforms. We need to change the style in which we are governing the country. First of all, the massive levels of the corruption that are being reported. I think we've seen in the Auditor General's reports, the FIC reports, and other reports that are in court now concerning the Mukula and stuff. So these are the issues that young people are looking for. Today, if you give the 6 million young people that 30 million, it comes to 5 kwacha each. So we shouldn't solve such a problem by throwing money at young people. No, we need to build the leadership base first of all, because that is where the problem is. I've always said the poverty in Zambia is as a result of poverty of leadership, because we have abundant resources. The money has always been there, and they've been chewing the money.
Michael Zulu was among the youths that took to the bush to protest on the 22nd of June 2020. Zulu says the amount that the president has given the youths, if shared among many youths, it means even one youth can get about 5 kwacha only. However, there has been so much talk even from some ministers who wondered what Michael Zulu was doing at the protest, as he is not a youth. This was his response.
For me, I think those are silly questions, especially if they're coming from government leaders. I don't mind if they come from Stella Sata. I don't know the young lady. I have a lot of respect for her father, and that is why, if you've noticed, I have not responded to her in any way. But if government leaders sink so low to think that non-youth can support the youth, then that is where the problem is. That is the poverty in leadership. What are they doing in the ministries? How old is the Minister of Youth himself? You know, how old is the PF Youth chairman? So all these things. I was listening to Mumbipiri on radio, who was passing similar sentiments. You know, they are shooting in the dark. They are shooting at the wrong target. Target the young people and sort their problems out. Then the young people won't be insulting you on all over.
The youths have asked the government of Zambia what is 30 million kwacha if they cannot create jobs for them. Handouts they don't need, but jobs they need. Constance Mwemba reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
The rapid growth in population in the past 5 years has seen a rise in compromised security in many areas in Kabwata inclusive. Speaking during the handover ceremony of a police post constructed using Constituency Development Fund in Kabwata Ward 6, Area Member of Parliament Given Lubinda says proper dispensation of duty calls for a conducive working environment. Mr. Lubinda is hopeful that the police station will enhance security in the area, especially during the rain season when most criminal activities become rife. More follow in this report.
Police presence is key to maintaining law and order. The police, as per mandate, their job is to protect life and property, among other duties, in line with the constitution of the land. To operate effectively, a conducive work environment is key. Today, a police post has been handed over to Kabwata Ward 6, named after the former Member of Parliament, Major Richard Kachingwe. Minister of Justice, Given Lubinda, who is also Kabwata Member of Parliament, was at hand to hand over the police post to the community in a colourful ceremony. He says it is important to appreciate people while they are alive.
As government, we shall put police stations and police posts wherever we can. However, just the presence of a police building does not ensure security. What ensures security is for the people around the vicinity of the police station to realize that there is an active police force or a police service. I therefore would like to appeal to IG through you that you must put all effort in ensuring that we restart what we used to have in the past: active police patrols in our communities. If there are no patrols, these police stations become only charge officers.
Receiving the police post, Deputy Commissioner for Lusaka Province, Donald Mondila, says security had become a matter of concern in the area and hopes that the police station will give chance to the police to execute their duties diligently.
This police post increases the number of police posts under Kabwata main station, which it falls now to 7. and it shall be saving approximately 1,500 households that have been experienced crimes, with most prevalent ones being housebreaking and robberies. The Governor, this gesture is as a result of the concept of police and the community partnership approach that the police command under the able leadership of His Excellency the President of the peaceful Republic of Zambia, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, has adopted in combating crime.
Meanwhile, Kabwata Ward 6 Area Councillor Longa Chiwawoka says he is grateful that the government has considered to put up a police post to curb the illicit activities in the area. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Medical clerks at the University Teaching Hospital UTH have been urged to improve their work culture and customary relations so as to contribute to the institution's developmental growth. Speaking during a meeting held at the highest medical teaching hospital, Director of Clinical Care and Diagnostic Services, Dr. Alex Makupe, says the clerks, just like in any other institutions, are the image of the institution. Hence, they must be high-quality service delivery, as their input also has a bearing on the institution's revenue collection. More in this report.
Why you look gives the confidence to the people that are coming, that have arrived in the hospital where life can come back to me. And that has to be reflected in the way we talk, in the way we walk, in the way we dress. And so the way you dress, gentlemen and ladies, is very, very key. I like to see that kind of, dressing. The same we are telling our nurses, the same we are telling our young doctors, dressing. Respectful talking to our clients. You cannot open the file without you even saying a greeting to somebody who has come, isn't it? The greeting just settles the nerves of our people when they're distressed from illness. It will settle them, and then the process can start better. More important also, you can introduce yourself. I am Peter, I am Mr. Mlenga, I'm your clerk, it's me to help you settle, it's me to help open the file for you. Then you start the process. And so identification is very, very key. And you remain very, very respectful. Wanting the processes to go fast. And that can bring in a lot of problems if we are not careful. There is so much loss of revenue. Because I told you one of the pillars that we have to use, if we have to run quality service in this hospital, we need revenue, isn't it? We need money. We need money. And you are key in harvesting that resource. You are key to ensuring that one who is supposed to pay for a chest X-ray contributes for a chest X-ray. One who is supposed to contribute for full blood count contributes for a full blood count. You are key. You are key to that. You are key. Where we've said clients and patients shall contribute this much, clerks are very, very key in ensuring that this is done. And if we all become disciplined and frank, that we help the system gather as much resources as possible, we can do far much better than where we are in as far as giving quality care is concerned. When you have resources in this hospital, the chair where you are supposed to sit will be better. It will get cushioned. Many of you have no heaters while you are working from in the night. Then we can buy heaters. We are struggling to provide coffee, tea for you. You can have coffee. But that has to come with more and more resources coming into the hospital. So I'd like to see you becoming more and more frank.
Kalingalinga Basic School has received a donation of a solar-powered water pump and a 10,000 litres water tank from the Africa on the Bowl charity organization. The donation was necessitated by the erratic water supply that the school has been struggling with. Meanwhile, the Africa on the Bowl organization has further donated a water kiosk in Kalingalinga Ward 31 in a view of improving the community's inadequate supply of water. Government, on the other hand, has since praised the Africa on the Bowl for its fervent contributions towards community development. More in this report.
Kalingalinga Basic School and the community at large have been tormented by frequent poor supply of water for quite a long time. Fortunate enough, the Africa on the Bowl organization ran to their rescue, and today the school and the community have been saved from their nightmares of worrisome sanitation that was perpetuated by poor supply of water.
This morning is a delightful day on behalf of Africa on the Bowl and our colleagues from Norway to be handing over a refurbished solar paneled borehole to Kalingalinga Primary School. Africa on the Bowl being a football organization, it is more exciting that this morning we'll also be handing over a community water kiosk to the community of Kalingalinga. The water kiosk will have so many benefits for athletes and the community at large, which in many cases faces challenges in water supply by our local utility providers. The kiosk will provide social and economical benefits to the community. Africa on the Ball will identify 3 vulnerable women to be running the water kiosk, which will be offering a water service to the community. However, through our friends, sadly they're not here, they are called Women Economic Empowerment Project. They'll be able to empower these women with basic customer care services, financial literacy programs, so that they can enhance their record keeping. As we may aware that we are facing a deadly pandemic of COVID-19, Africa on the Ball further decided to donate some water buckets, 250 face masks and some tissue and hand wash to the school.
The school had a critical water challenge, and Africa on the Ball, collaborating with some European partners, worked on the rehabilitation of our water system in the school. The water system has migrated from the use of hydroelectricity to the use of solar system. In the fight against COVID, having clean water, safe and running water is very critical. In order for us to have a clean environment and wash our hands regularly, water is a must. We appreciate Africa on the Ball for the gesture, and we humbly request other stakeholders to come on board and supplement government effort.
The pupils of Kalingalinga Basic School, together with Kalingalinga residents, have expressed their gratitude towards the development from the organization.
My name is Kelvin Balia. On behalf of Kalingalinga, I would like to thank Africa on the Ball for giving us a borehole. We had a bit of challenges in water supply. Sometimes when we don't have water, we didn't used to use the toilets because of no water. But now, since they've given us a borehole, we're now free to use the toilets anytime we want and use the water for drinking. Due to this COVID-19, it's good because we have water. We can be able to wash our hands regularly with soap, and we can be able to drink safe and clean water.
Tiamikira pa Africa on the Ball, vamene vanafaka chani boho mu school mu Kalingalinga because kudala mwenzeli be school. So benzo dandaula maningi ma teachers bana so apalokolera abwera we bintu vzankala chebebwino kai manzi zankala available kulibe kuvutika so tiamikira kwambiri wapitirizi wasalekere hapa konse kwe baenda bazista so chabi.
Meanwhile, the leadership of Kalingalinga Ward 31 have charged the residents to refrain from vandalizing the property, but rather use it to sustain the community's sanitation.
The area councillor wished to send a stern warning to those who would be vandals. If you are caught vandalizing this infrastructure, the law will take its course.
Reporting for Camnet TV News, Tennyson Kaunda II in Lusaka.
Chifunabuli Member Parliament Mecha Mponde says the move by government to inject 29 million kwacha into the aquaculture sector is welcome, but caution needs to be taken during implementation stage. In an interview with Camnet TV, the lawmaker notes that youths have the potential to grow the sector once they are allowed to freely draft their own ideas in languages they understand. He says most youth projects fail because the custodian, the funds, ask for complicated processes before disbursing the funds. Meanwhile, Mr. Mponde, who also sits on the Agriculture Committee in Parliament, says government needs to clearly indicate that not all the youths will access the funds, especially as individuals. He has advised that youths to form groups for easy access of the funds.
It's a welcome move. Actually allocate such an amount of money for agriculture for the youth. I think what is more important is to do proper targeting, because it may end up going into wrong hands. You need to measure the commitment of people who are going to access those funds. It's very important. What we want is to cultivate a culture of entrepreneurship. So even before the funds are dispersed, I think there must be a mechanism to strengthen the entrepreneurship aspect among the youth. And it must be very, very clear to the youth that it's not everybody who is going to access that. One thing I can encourage is that that money should be dispersed to the groups rather than individuals. It must work in a way that the groups will be able to share skills among themselves, so that as it is rolled out, probably in the near future, then they will have sufficient skills to even run agriculture as a business on an individual basis. Very, very important. Again, I think information must trickle in a manner that is understandable by the youth. And that must be expedited, because we want the youth both from urban and rural areas to actually access that. One big mistake we may make is to give money indiscriminately, when we know we are having problems of water.
We now take our second set of commercials. Keep watching.
Dr. Bigron, usaibala komunti enda ukuni gift na land. Uchitenkubeti uibise mojo wasaione. Oh! Mwina mochi, nakuletera njinga. Latest inaluvesi gear na mawaipa.
Zip code chidi ya shidi ya njinga. Liam 19 pendef kondo. Transport, we got it.
Nanga phone for communication. Ipu sana chizungu. Yeah, you see what I mean?
It's a Camnet difficult.
It's communication. We got it. Indemo powerful system ndimba X-Buzz.
Mufumile kukalale. Na mnaimo muli bakumushi. We got it. Yo Bikron, utole noleta nchemfule mungani. Get you watch pose and change. 1, 2, 3. Both of you. Kabala ngempang. Don't be stupid. We got it.
You know I can take her a bake.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
You're still watching Camnet TV. Camnet, not just another channel. And now the news in detail. We now look at the international news. Mozambique, Angola, Namibia, Ethiopia, Zambia, Rwanda, Uganda, Egypt, Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco are the African countries said to be allowed to enter the European Union territory as the borders reopen in July, according to a draft list of the countries obtained and reported by Euronews. As the European Union gets ready to reopen its borders, officials in Brussels are debating behind closed doors the draft of two lists, one with those countries that will be accepted and one for those which will not, as the territories struggle to meet the previously announced July 1st goal. The Euronews sources also reported that officials could not reach an agreement, that talks would continue, and that the deadline to open the borders may very well be extended beyond July 1st, suggesting agreements will not be forthcoming in time. Fatih Mohamed Zanako, head coach, has praised President Lungu for the decision to resume Zambian Football League. He has further appreciated the Football Association of Zambia for its effort to ensure that the league returns to the ground amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Mohammed says the players need to take advantage of the short period of time they have been given to prepare themselves adequately for the league. Meanwhile, he has further urged the supporters to give their all to the team by using various means to support the games, as there will be no physical supporters during the games. We've now come to the end of the main news. A recap of the top stories. Government accuses ADB of delaying construction of the 15 kilometers asphalt dual carriageway. Chela Tukuta transferred to Lusaka. Activist urges government to stop giving youths handout. In international news, Zambia among 11 countries allowed to enter the EU. And finally in sports, President Lungu praised for resuming Football League. And now today's memory verse comes from the book of Leviticus 19 verse 18, which says, "Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of the people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." The end of the news. This has been Mwinga Mwinga. Thanks for being with us. Good night and God bless you.